Her network
that
meeting.
whole media endeavor.
Ask Tammy Warner if she's buying a building yet or not.
Actually, no, that's not gonna happen, I don't think.
Well, then we're taking our money back.
Are you ready, Michelle?
I'll email her during the meeting.
What?
Call the meeting to order at Smontcalm County Board of Commissioners, regular meeting for Monday, May 26th. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Vice Chairman Peterson.
Pastor Dennis Ross from Nevins Lake Church here to lead us in prayer, please.
Let's pray. Dear God in heaven, we continue to remember those who gave their lives that we might have the freedoms that we continue to enjoy. We remember the greatest sacrifice ever given, that of Jesus Christ, to give us freedom from our sins. We do pray for our commissioners for this meeting today, that you would guide and direct according to your will. We pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Alexander.
Here.
Johnston.
Here.
Peterson.
Yes, ma'am.
Johnson.
Here.
Mahar. Carr.
Yes.
And Murray.
Here. And we have a quorum. I don't have any changes to the agenda tonight. Does anyone else?
Mr. Chair, I would move to approve our agenda as presented.
Support. It's been moved and supported to approve the agenda as presented. Discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Everyone have a copy of the meeting minutes, the last meeting from May 11th.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Johnston.
I'd move to approve our minutes from our regular board meeting, May 11th, 2026 as presented.
Support.
Been moved and supported to approve the minutes of the May 11th meeting as presented. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Public comments. Hearing no public comments, our 405 agenda item is the prosecutor Thomas Genster to talk about a continuation of services contract.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, good afternoon. I'd like to thank you for your continued support for public safety in our county. So I'm here to ask the Commissioner for leave to extend Betsy Hartley's contract as a special assistant prosecuting attorney for a period of 1 year. The first 6 months, she'll be compensated as she is now. In the remaining 6 months, she'll be just compensated pretty much on a gratis basis, $1 a month or $1 for the duration. The reason is, in addition to our 30% uptick in our caseload as compared to 2024, the Supreme Court thought it was a good idea in the Zarnicki and Taylor cases to remand all these juvenile, what we call the juvenile or lifer cases, back to the counties for resentencing. And what those cases are about, if that someone was convicted of either felony murder or first degree murder without the possibility of parole, that they found that there's a presumption that that constitutes cruel and unusual punishment under the Michigan and federal constitutions. So they remanded all those cases back to the counties for resentencing. I think Wayne County alone has something like maybe 190 of these. Montcalm County initially had 5 of these. One of the lifer remands while these were pending died in prison, left 4. Betsy has successfully negotiated resentencing in 2 of those cases, and 2 cases remain Underwood and McGowan. I can't stress enough that these cases are extremely laborious, very time consuming. They take up, if I should have brought one of the tubs here, it would take 2 people to carry it in, but they're full of transcripts and documents. just to go through the record is a very laborious undertaking. And so I wasn't unsure before when Commissioner Peterson raised the question of whether Betsy has ever billed under the cold case she's working on. The answer is no. She's never billed under that. Under the $75,000 cap that you authorized for this fiscal year, she has billed to date only $21,675. Again, she's compensated at $75 an hour, which is approximately half of the compensation to court-appointed lawyers across the table from her. They get a minimum of $140 an hour. So she's billed the county for less than 25% of what you authorized. I don't think it's going to take her anywhere near 6 months to resolve these cases. She's filed motions to reimpose the life without possibility of parole sentences. But I wanted to give that, I think these should be wrapped up between 90 and 120 days. But if the defense attorney knows that she's time limited, that's going to be unilaterally disarmed. They could just game her until her contract runs out and put these cases back on our remaining staff. That's why I'm asking for the 6-month extension, even though I don't think she's going to use it or bill anywhere near what we're asking for. The reason to keep her on as a special assistant is so she can keep her appointment, is to allow her to have direct access to the Michigan State Police Laboratory, to the lien, and interaction with other police agencies and working the cold case. That's what brought her interest in serving our county initially. I personally feel we all owe her a tremendous debt of gratitude that she came in and was willing to serve, come out of retirement with her vast experience in order for us to get our sea legs. And so we're in good shape because of her. She provided invaluable training to myself and to my staff, and she's served us well.
Okay. Anyone have any questions for prosecutor?
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, Vice Chairman Peterson.
first off, it's not a question. Mr. Ginster, you said I brought up the question. I asked you after you had said she was working on the case 4 hours a week. That's all.
Okay.
And my other question is, in your proposed motion, the last paragraph says the following 6 months will be at $1 per month with a maximum of 2 hours at $75 per hour to maintain her training. So wouldn't it just be $151 a month?
No, I just wanted to build in just enough time for her to renew her CJIS certification to have access to lien.
Okay.
Sorry for the
It's fine.
ambiguity.
Just
Yep.
wondered. That's all I got.
Anyone else?
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Commissioner
How are we
Johnson.
coming at actually hiring people, full-time people, instead of keep extending part-time contracts?
Yeah, actually, the use of contractual attorneys is very commonplace now, given the recruitment retention challenges of my colleagues around the state. When we go to conferences, we find a lot of Betsy's not alone in being a contractual employee, but I've been able to drag at least one seasoned attorney out of retirement, and the recruiting and retention environment remains very competitive. In just about every neighboring county, there's vacancies for assistant prosecuting attorneys. I applaud this commission for the wage study. We're, I think, maybe $8,000 or $9,000 higher than Kent County. And this isn't a destination county. We don't have a university. And so there's not really, if you're just getting out of law school and you're not from here, it's a pretty tough sell to bring somebody here and to have them stay. So.
You show them that card about the dorms at MCC?
Yeah.
Saying.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead,
I'd like
Commissioner
to
Johnson.
propose a motion to approve The renewal of attorney Betsy Hartley's contract for a period of 1 year from June 2, 2026 to May 31st, 2027. The first 6 months will be on a part-time basis, no more than 20 hours per week for a maximum of $36,000. The following 6 months will be at $1 per month with a maximum of 2 hours of $75 per hour to maintain her CJIS training certification.
Support. It's been moved and supported. Discussion. Hearing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Up next is correspondence, Vice Chairman Peterson, please.
Okay, it's a full one today. Starting out with everyone's favorite. We're pretty much starting out and finishing with everyone's favorite. On page 25, warrant report 05142026, in the amount of $3,930,097.28. Up next, warrant report 05212026, in the amount of $539,779.48. And last but not least, warrant report 05262026, in the amount of $408,435.49 for a grand total of $4,878,312.25. Brenda,
Yep.
perfect. Does anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns about the warrant report?
The number again, 4,878, 312.78,
25.
5 at the end.
25 and the change.
Yep.
If you're wondering why that first one was so big, it was delinquent tax settlement.
All right. If nobody's got anything else, I would move to approve and allow for the appropriate signatures for all the warrant reports as presented.
Support. It's been moved and supported to approve the 3 warrant reports totaling $4,878,312.25. Discussion. If there's no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, items 4 through 9 of the consent agenda. You'll see our tax rate request from last month and various other reports. If no one has anything on that, I would move to place items 4 through 9 of the consent agenda on file.
It's been moved and supported to place items 4 through 9 of the consent agenda on file. Discussion. If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And also for your information, there's a couple of Department of Treasury updates and one resolution from Acosta County urging prompt action on Drain Code 1956. Have not looked into that, but I am sure it's got something to do with the Drain Commissioner. But other than that, if nobody's got anything, that'll be your board correspondence for Monday, May 26th.
Vice Chairman
Tuesday, May
Peterson.
26th.
Tuesday. Jeez, it is Tuesday. Oh. You did get me.
Up next is committee reports. We don't have anything after that. New business, item 1, clerk correspondence.
I have 2 things today. Sadly, I am losing my chief deputy. Friday, Stephanie let me know that she will be accepting a position and pursuing a career in the private sector. So I need the board's permission to pay out her unused vacation time, which would be 87 hours, 87.5 hours. So I would request that she be paid that out.
Is that consistent with how we do all
Mhm.
those?
Yeah, salary. Yeah.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Alexander.
I'd move to direct the controller's office to pay Stephanie Bracy 87.5 hours of unused vacation time.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Discussion.
Just a quick question. That's earned on January 1, correct, Linda? They earn their vacation on January 1?
No, it's usually by your hire date,
Okay.
whatever the anniversary of your hire date is.
Gotcha. So we're not paying her out on vacation time for a partial year that she earned past the time she won't be working?
No.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
The second thing I have for you is a request to appoint Kay Powell to the jury board. We had a position that expired earlier this year. We have, the way the jury board works, it used to be appointed by the governor, now it's appointed by the board of commissioners with concurrence from our chief judges. And so Judge Krieger and Judge Schaefer are both in concurrence that Kay Powell, who used to be my chief deputy, would be a great asset to the jury board. We do have one Democrat on the board, which is Diane Zakala. Then we have Jay Christensen, and Kay would be the other Republican appointment. So I would request that you appoint Kay. Those are 6-year terms.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to recommend that the Board of Commissioners appoint Kay Powell to the Montcalm County Jury Board effective May 27th, 2026, with her term expiring April 1st, 2032.
Support.
Moved and supported. Discussion. Who was the jury board that was found out?
It was Jackie Kemmler, and she wasn't interested in serving again.
Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Up next is controller correspondence.
All I have is to point out those ITC, that literature I put on your desk. Pat and I got letters about those projects, but I wanted the rest of you to have copies. The letter basically says if you have any feedback to give them based on those maps they've put in there of where they're gonna run, where they intend to run lines, to reach out by July 6th. So if you want to reach out with feedback, let me know and I can get you the email address to do that. And that's all I have,
Okay.
other than Eric.
Number 3 is chair board correspondence. The chair would like to ask the emergency manager for an update on the state of emergency or the FEMA, wherever you're comfortable. You're welcome to come on up.
About the thunderstorm last week? So I got about 17 text messages and voicemails because of it.
What time?
Various times.
Okay, the reason I was asking is because after we had the one a while ago, because dispatch only administrates that whole thing, but we talked and Logan basically, I don't know if turned it off is the right term to use, but turned it off from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. unless it's like a true warning of some sort. So you might still get the other things that don't seem as important between 8 in the morning and 8 at night, but after 8 at night, you should only get the warnings and the true oh no stuff. That's the way it's supposed to be, but Logan does all that, so I'd have to confirm.
Maybe you got missed and you're still getting.
Maybe.
I didn't get them.
And there's also different ways. So dispatch can push out an emergency to everybody's phone that you get, whether you want it or not. That's like there's a tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm warning, or I think probably straight line winds over 60 or 80 mile an hour, et cetera. But also you can get on there and you can sign up for other things as well. So it may be something that someone signed up for, or but different things. So as far as the tornado goes, everybody knows that late at night on that Tuesday we had a tornado. Touched down just west of Town Hall Road, south of Fenwick, and ended up going east a little bit, crossed Fenwick Road, went into Gratiot County. Thankfully, the county line was right there because that saved us a whole lot of time and a whole lot of work once it went into Gratiot, because Gratiot got it even worse than we did. Weather Service came out a couple days later and said it was an EF1 tornado, 110 mile an hour winds. That's a lot. I've never seen destruction like this. There was roughly 40 homes that were damaged, as well as many ag-related businesses and or equipment. It was kind of a real mess down there. It was in both Sheridan and Carson's fire coverage area. Senator Road is the dividing line, so both departments responded because there was obviously tons and tons of wires down and trees blocking the road, et cetera. So those two fire departments and the road commission initially responded and essentially worked on, life safety stuff right away, of course, and then the road clearing. They had every single road cleared by daylight, which is pretty incredible because there's not a ton of north-south roads, but every one of them was like completely clogged because the storm went that way, and so just filled every road. By daylight, they had every road passable and every road cleared. I got down there around daylight, and basically I started at the west end, I guess, and Mark Crofis from Carson Fire started kind of on the east end, and we essentially were going house to house, checking on life safety, immediate needs, make sure there weren't missing people or injured people or anything like that. And then we kind of met in the middle. There was an unbelievable amount of traffic down there. Like, you can't even imagine how much traffic. At one point, we literally had to ask and have patrol cars stationed at the end of the roads to not let people go down the roads unless they were supposed to be there, because it literally was bumper to bumper traffic. There were so many cars down there going up and down those roads. It was crazy. And eventually we ended up with road commission barricades, just, physically blocking the roads off. It was unreal. So as the day went on, it was certainly obvious that we were going to need to declare a local state of emergency. So I got with Pat, I prepared something. We talked and Pat agreed, that we should declare a local state of emergency. At this time, there was a state declaration, but the state declaration was only for the flooding, and it didn't include our county because we weren't flooded. So we declared the local state of emergency, which that is in effect for 7 days unless you guys collectively get together and extend it. In this case, it really never was necessary to extend it because within the next few days, the state expanded their state declaration to include not just the flooding, but all severe weather. So any severe weather that happened in the state between April 13th and 20th was included in this new declaration, and it included our county as well. So that's why you probably saw or heard about our local declaration, but didn't hear any more, because we just allowed that to sunset because we were then covered under the state declaration and we didn't need to do anything with our own, if that makes sense. Thursday morning, Mark and I met at the office, and then we went over the data and the pictures that we both compiled and kind of organized it all and put it in files and all that. Orville Thieker, the state police district coordinator, he was going to come up because he wanted to go kind of tour the area and see what was up. So he came up to our area and he got to the office before Mark and I were done. And then Newaygo County called and said, "Hey, we've got all this flooding." He's like, "Oh, I got to go over there." So he ended up going over there and went back down and finished up what we were doing down there. Thursday evening, we did a kind of just-in-time damage assessment training with our Citizens Corps folks. That's our volunteers, our community emergency response team, our OPSCOM radio folks, our weather people, et cetera. Most all of them had damage assessment training before. There's a couple new ones. So MSP did damage assessment training for us Thursday night. And then Friday morning, bright and early, we were down doing all of our local damage assessment. We're going door to door, marking what damage occurred to what houses and all of that. And there's actually an app, which earlier today they were talking about that ArcGIS at the department head meeting. It's the same app. And they talked about the address thing. So you go to somebody's house and you say, "Okay, I'm here." And it says, "Okay, you're at address whatever." And you say, "Yep, that's where I am." And then you have to choose how badly damaged a home is and what makes it damaged that way, and upload pictures in the whole 9 yards. And it all goes onto a dashboard, covers the whole state. So we did all of our local damage assessment Friday and Saturday. Did get some calls from some other people as far away as Remus that were basically like, "We want to come and help. We want to put together a big group of people. We want to come help clean up." I'm like, not yet. That may be a great thing. We maybe have a wonderful opportunity for you, but we're not there yet. We're not ready yet. Because at that point we hadn't done anything really with the debris management. We were only working on and trying to finish the damage assessment stuff. So when we were ready to move on to the debris management stuff, once we got that done, I secured a place that was willing to let us put dumpsters and stuff, reached out to some of the different dumpster companies and get some quotes and stuff for having dumpsters brought in and picked up, et cetera. One of the things that I'm glad I did kind of early on is I sent something out to all of the agencies and departments that I thought may have some sort of response in the whole thing, anticipating down the road, if we do get, we hadn't gotten it yet, but we do get the state declaration and potentially ultimately a federal declaration, we hopefully will be able to submit for reimbursement for a lot of these costs associated with the response and recovery, but only if we have the appropriate documentation to go with it. So I sent it out early on to everyone saying, please track everything, record everything, keep records of everything. So if we have a chance to submit for reimbursement, we'll be ready to submit and we won't have to try to figure out later on. That came in handy later on because, of course, we did. One of the things in making sure that we followed all the procedures, specifically to debris management, were a couple things that were kind of a pain. One is we have to send things out for competitive bids. So we couldn't just get a hold of, a dumpster company. We had to send it out to all the dumpster companies and had to do a competitive bid process. So I came up here, I talked to Michelle, I worked with Brenda. Brenda helped us put an RFP together. Michelle sent it out to all the people. We got 2 bids back. And then we didn't really act right away because we wanted to make sure that everybody was ready for that. And then another part of the debris management rules, I guess, is if we're going to do a debris management site, that site has to be manned. So if anybody does bring any debris there, then we have to record who's bringing it, what they're bringing, where it's coming from, et cetera. So we can have some sort of assurance when we submit for reimbursement that all expenses incurred were specifically and only storm related. So we had to be able to prove that everybody was supposed to be dropping stuff off and they were dropping stuff off they were supposed to be dropping off, that it really was their blown apart barn and not, last year's cement from their driveway remodel or whatever. So we got that going. Went down a couple other times, of course, in the area, checking up on people, checking up on things, seeing how the debris cleanup was going. Debris management turned into a priority for a lot of the farmers because it's planting season. So the fields were literally just full of pieces of farms and houses and barns and all sorts of stuff. So they had gone out and cleaned up all the fields pretty quickly and were either piling it kind of in fence rows or along the road, et cetera. So there really was no immediate need to try to do the debris management because they had done a lot of it already. Some of the people I talked to had already been in touch with Moorbark. They were going to bring down a great big grinder so they could start working on cleaning up their property and grinding up the trees and having, I guess, giant piles of wood chips, et cetera. Somebody else had reached out and talked to Fair Salvage. Fair Salvage was bringing a giant roll-off. So everything that was going to be recyclable, they were just going to throw in, and Fair Salvage is going to take it all away for them. So people are kind of working on our own. And as the municipality, the only obligation that we had to clean up anything, so to speak, was anything that was on public property. And down there really wasn't anything that was public property other than the roads, and they had that done by daylight the next morning. So we technically didn't have any obligation. We were just trying to be prepared in case that needed to happen, that we could do it, just because that's what we should do, I thought. So we have not done any of the debris management stations yet. Staffing has shown to be a little bit of an issue. My initial thought was we would use the Citizens Corps folks for that too, and they simply weren't interested. So when we get to the point, if we do get to the point that we're going to do the debris management site, then we're going to have to figure out a way to staff it. Then we got notice that MSP, FEMA, and the U.S. Small Business Administration were actually going to do a joint damage assessment, which that sounds like is pretty rare. A lot of times MSP does theirs, FEMA does theirs, SBA may do theirs in conjunction with one or the other. But since this event was so big and covered like 43 counties of the Lower Peninsula, they were actually all got together, all coordinated to do it all at once. So that was pretty cool. They had a meeting up in Gaylord on Monday afternoon about the whole process. So I went up to the meeting, and their plan was to do our county on Wednesday. Sure enough, first thing Wednesday morning, I met all of the folks down there at Carson City Fire Department, and we went out, we started doing the damage assessment, which is essentially just a repeat of what we did the first time. They basically are validating what we did using the same app, the same website, everything's the same, but just validating what we came up with, or in some cases, even finding new damage or even damaged homes that we didn't realize were there. So that's kind of what they do, is it's kind of a verification thing. So we got that together. It was a beautiful day, about 43 degrees. It snowed off and on. The wind blew about 43 mile an hour. 0 out of 10 recommend doing that. That was pretty miserable. We did get word that if we were going to apply for public assistance, that we had to have our initial documentation submitted by May 12th. Initially didn't think that was going to apply to us just because some of the things I said on the webinar, but when I went to that Gaylord thing, they clarified, no, that did apply to us. So we got all of that submitted, and because I did reach out to the people that I initially sent the email to, reach back out and said, hey, okay, send me what you got. So I actually turned in just under $175,000 worth of expenses for different agencies that responded as part of the response and recovery. Those aren't hard numbers. Those are basically the initial numbers. That's the initial data that MSP is going to use to compile their entire packet to send to Washington to request a federal declaration. So if we end up with more expenses down the road, we can still apply for those for reimbursement. That was just kind of the initial, hey, this is where we're at right now. Because certain thresholds have to be met in order to qualify for certain things. So they wanted all of that so they could put it together and say, yep, we're over our threshold. Please give us a presidential declaration kind of thing. But that's not like a cap. It's not a, you didn't apply already, so you can't have it. It's not really how it
But
works.
that's not the total damage assessment.
No,
right?
that's.
Do we know what that is yet?
No. Because when we do the damage assessment, when we locally did it, and then when FEMA and MSP and all those guys, there's not dollar amounts assigned to anything. It's only categorizing the damage as one of four things. It's either what they consider affected, minor damage, major damage, or destroyed. And there's certain criteria that make something minor, major, destroyed, etc. But there's no dollars assigned to those. And I'm sure somebody is going to at some point assign dollar amounts to those. But I don't know what those are. I don't really have a guess. I can tell you that if they include the farm related stuff, it's going to be millions. The agriculture damage to the buildings and the equipment is going to far exceed the houses.
When I drove through, it looked like every old red or white barn was gone.
Yes,
The old ones.
it was pretty incredible. I've never seen damage like it, Chris. I've never been in a tornado before. I could not believe the damage that this thing done. I found a calf hutch 1.5 miles away from Hull's farm. It was out in the middle of some field, beyond the next road, in the middle of the next block, out in the middle of a wheat field. There's one of their calf hutches 1.5 miles away. It's just insane. After we did the joint damage assessment stuff, we submitted all of our documentation. Like I said, just under $175,000 is what I submitted initially. A couple days after that, I had a Teams meeting with the MSP folks. They had some questions on the stuff that I submitted, and they were quite confident that FEMA was going to ask for some clarification on some of the documentation. And some of the road commission stuff, they use different terms for their roads than we do. We call it, Stanton Road, or we call it 522, where they call it A0329 Road, or they've got some technicality for it. And so that's on the documentation. So some of the stuff is they were on to know, either GPS locations or actually names of the roads, not their codes. And then other things like, was the work done on straight time or overtime? Was the different work, was it, considered routine work or emergency work? And so there's different things like that. So I asked Rob for clarification on some of that stuff, and we have to have that submitted by, I believe, Thursday afternoon for the next step in that. So that's kind of where we are right now. Some things that I did learn in the process, because this was my first tornado or my first disaster, so to speak, of this kind of magnitude. I was down there several different days going through, talking to people, helping with things, working on things, coming up with plans, next step, et cetera. And even though it was a really terrible time, people's houses were destroyed, their farms were gone. Every single person I encountered was incredibly friendly, was very cordial. And this doesn't sound right because it's not literally true, but everybody was happy to see me. And that is not at all what you would expect when something terrible going on. People were happy to see people out and about, and the neighbors helping neighbors was pretty incredible. I mean, people literally come out of the woodwork. It's like, well, my house is okay. What can I do to help your house, kind of thing. And it was pretty neat. One thing that I learned that I don't really care for, but they're way bigger than me, is this process is ridiculously slow. I've been a paramedic for over 30 years. I'm used to being thrown into a bad situation, find the problem, fix the problem. When you have something like this, when you're dealing with MSP, when you're dealing with EMS HD, you're dealing with FEMA, it don't work like that. They don't exactly work at paramedic speed. So it's been kind of challenging to have to sit on my hands and wait for the process to come to me, which I don't like that, but it is what it is. But throughout, the one thing that I have made sure is that we did follow the process, so we don't potentially jeopardize that opportunity for reimbursement. So those agencies and departments that did have a hand in the response and recovery, We'd like to be able to get as much, if not all of their money back as we can that they spent. And as of right now, I believe we're in pretty good shape to do that. It's just not happening nearly as quickly as I'd like it to. We had one damage assessment guy, for example, that said he'd actually done tornado damage assessment for FEMA a year and a half after a tornado. So I thought we did pretty good. Our initial damage assessment was 2 days, and our FEMA/MSP was like 3 weeks. So I would say we were way a bit ahead of schedule for typical timelines, but still very frustrating. So I guess that's kind of where we're at right now and what's happened. That's kind of the Cliff Notes version. I mean, there's endless little stories about different people and properties and stuff like that, but that's kind of the Cliff Notes version. So any other comments, questions, concerns, anything else you were hoping to hear or wanted to know?
So there could be more to come for how long?
Yeah, there could be. So one of the things that I found weird is the U.S. Small Business Administration. They're there because anybody that has a business of any sort from their property could potentially be eligible for loans from the SBA. Agriculture is not considered a business under the SBA, which I found strange, but the reason being is the USDA has their own programs specific to ag-related businesses. So we may do this all over again with the USDA. I don't know. Or if they are able to take other people's data and just use that, I'm not sure. But I was very much surprised that farm-related businesses aren't considered businesses for the Small Business Administration. That they have their own programs under USDA for things like that.
Anyone else? Any questions for?
No, just a comment. The farm I'm associated with, they have 9 buildings on that, and all 9 of them are hit. 4 of them destroyed, and all the rest of them had roofs tore off, whatever. I've hauled 8 tons of steel the last 4 days over to Bears, and I probably got at least that much more to go.
Oh,
Yeah, it's easy to believe. Yeah. And number of buildings, I would say they probably were the most tore up number of buildings live, but actually damage done, they're probably not. It's crazy. And yeah, they ended up losing, I don't know, a few calves were killed and they had to put a couple of cows down because of the injuries.
They've lost quite a few more calves since
Oh,
then,
they-
just from stress and stuff. Well, most of them flew across the road with chains around their neck. And
Right.
That said a lot of them had neck damage and stuff.
Yeah. And
But
the
yeah.
the hutch that was out in the field, I didn't go out there to see if there's still a calf in it because there was literally potential for there still to be a calf in it. It was insane. But all of the cows are all back home and they're all milking again. And I was over there the day, it wasn't intentional, but I happened to be there the day that all the cows came home. So it really does happen. It's not
Just
just,
the milk cows and the calves.
Yep,
The dry cows and everything else and feeders and stuff are all at about 6 different farms. yeah.
right. Yeah, they were, we actually went, because of course, the next day when they're missing these cows all over, people are looking for cows everywhere. And we ended up having the sheriff's department go down there, the infrared drone, and was able to find the rest of the missing cows that we thought. Ended up closing the road. So basically get a group of people and herd the cows back to the road, close the road down, and then walk all of the cows down the road back to the farm. And I mean, it was quite a deal. But, it all worked out and everybody worked together. And, it seemed like dozens of cattle trailers showed up to take all of the cows to other places because they have to be milked. They can't not be milked. So there was many other farms that took a bunch of the cows so they could continue milking and stuff until they could get the parlor repaired and get power restored and all that stuff. And I want to say May 13th, I believe, may have been the day that the cows came home.
Something like that, yeah.
But so it's literally, almost a month later just to get the parlor back up and going and where they could actually milk cows again. So there's been a lot happening in the last 5-6 weeks, whatever it's been, a lot. But that's kind of the story.
anyone else have any? Well, thank you, Eric.
All right. Can't get up, stuck.
That's all I had. Does any other correspondence from the rest of the board? If not, up next is old business. We have one item. It's a written legal opinion from our attorney. I'd entertain a motion to go into closed session for
So
the
moved.
purpose of a legal
Support.
opinion. It's been moved and supported to go into closed session for the purpose of a written legal opinion. Discussion.
Johnston,
Yes.
Murray,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Alexander,
Yes.
Carr.
Yes.